Hey guys, let's talk about seizing people during or before the execution of a search warrant. My name is Anthony Bandiero. I'm an attorney and senior legal instructor for Blue to Gold Law Enforcement Training, bringing you another roadside chat. All right, this question comes from an officer in California. He has a few scenarios. Let's see if we can kind of figure these out and give some good advice here. So he says, look, I'm a cop in California. I've been on the job for about 3 years and still learning. Love it. And by the way, you'll never stop learning. The day you stop learning is when you are off the job, right? Hire to retire. That's the mentality of learning. I was asked to stop a vehicle that was going to leave a residence where a residential search warrant was going to be served. This is all pre-planned. They knew knew when the person was going to leave, and that is when I would put a stop on the car. Do I need my own PC to stop the car? I'm being told that because they're part of the search warrant, that we actually have PC, reasonable suspicion for them. Okay. The first thing is that we do know from Michigan versus Summers, 1981, that if we effectuate a search warrant, if we execute a search warrant, then everybody at that residence is seized during the execution of the warrant. Even if we don't have PC for them specifically, they are not allowed to leave unless we want them to leave. Now, this applies to generally people that are associated with the residence because somehow they can help you. It's a safety issue. They can help you unlock things. And alternatively, they may get arrested at the end of the search. Now, this doesn't apply to the plumber or the UPS guy or the mailman. We understand that, right? Now, here, I'm missing some facts. I want to know, is the warrant already issued? In other words, are we like on the way to the house to execute this warrant? If so, I don't see a problem, right? Just we can call it, at that point when the cop is stopping this person, just say that that's part of the execution of the warrant. You don't have to have the warrant in hand. I think courts would uphold that. However, if the warrant has not been approved yet, we can't use Michigan versus Summers. That's not going to work. So now we're going to have to go to old school classic rules of pretext stops. If you can find another reason to stop them, we may have, PC as to them independently. Remember, Summers does not require PC for a particular person or a reasonable suspicion. It just requires that they are in the house or associated with it at the time of the execution. But if we want to, if these people are going to leave that house and we have no warrant, then you are going to need an independent reason to stop them. I don't teach this unless you can find a case that says I'm dead wrong. I don't teach that you can just stop people just because you're going to get a warrant without some other independent reason to do it, like reasonable suspicion, like probable cause, right? Some form of urgency, whatever it is. Maybe you have it. Okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is the cop says, what if the vehicle wasn't even listed in the warrant, but the target of the person was? Well, I'm fine with that, right? So if you have the warrant, it seems to me that you have the warrant here, and the target of the warrant is, right? So again, just execute it. Just stop that person as soon as possible. You really should be stopping them like almost like in front of their house, right? But if you don't want to blow the cover, around the corner, but don't let that guy go far away. And in other words, if you let him go far away and he's no longer associated or the immediate vicinity of the house, you can't call that a Summers detention. We're going to get into that next, which is the Bailey versus United States, U.S. Supreme Court, 2013. This is where an officer allowed a person to leave a residence, go like a mile away, then effectuate the stop. And why was he stopping him? They called it a Summers detention. The problem is that person was way too far and too unassociated with the residence at this point. They call that a Summers detention. Summers detentions are for particular reasons. Safety, that's not existing here. They're going to get arrested at the end of the search. Well, again, this guy's gone. Or they can help effectuate the search, right? They can open up locked cabinets, safes, and tell you where the drugs are if they just want to kind of get it over with. But when you let them leave, they don't really serve those purposes. So I would not do that, right? If you're going to do it, you better be doing it quick, is in my view. Get it over with. Just get it done. If you're going to call a Summers detention. Now, at the same time, though, don't forget, you could have your own independent probable cause without the warrant. In other words, ask yourself this. If I saw that guy driving down the street, could I stop him and arrest him? If the answer is yes, then you don't need a warrant for that. So there you go. What if neither the target person nor the vehicle is listed on the search warrant, but they were seen leaving the house? We're back in that same situation. They would have to be A, the warrant should be issued, and B, they would have to be associated in the immediate vicinity of the residence to call that a summons detention. And essentially, you would be executing that. You'd be starting that warrant. So it can get a little complicated. I think we'll be fine on that. But the point is you don't need to know exactly what the other cops know. That's one thing. If you're just, 3 years on a job, you're going to be the boot, right? You're probably not. I don't want to insult you. 3 years on, you're probably not a boot, but you are the new guy. And you're like, hey, just watch that house. If anybody leaves, stop it. You are probably depending on collective knowledge. You don't have the independent knowledge. You don't know exactly why people are getting stopped and so forth. But if other officers are telling you, stop that vehicle, then you are allowed to rely on their collective knowledge. However, if they're wrong, you're wrong. It is what it is. Obviously you should trust your fellow officers if they have it right, but your fellow officers should be watching this too, that it's not, just because you're chasing a warrant does not mean you have broad authority to start detaining people just because they're leaving the house. You would need independent reason until that warrant got issued, right? Because you're playing in the regular rules at that point. Warrantless rules. All right? All right, good conversation. Hopefully, if you like what we're doing around here, and hopefully we're trying to get it right every single time. We're a very boutique channel here. We just work for you, the law enforcement officers. We also have a lot of non-law enforcement officers who watch this channel. Good for them. We're trying to train them too, right? So everybody knows the rules, right? If you like this, like, subscribe, share with your friends. That's all I ask. And until next time, my friends, stay safe and make good case law.